Welcome back to the TD show, guys. Hope everybody's well tonight. Football week is finally here, Todd, right?
Yep. Can't wait.
Yes. Yes. I was going to say finally some real football since we haven't had any preseason or anything. So I know we just had our fantasy drafts. That should be fun to do, too.
I feel like I've been doing fantasy drafts for the last couple of days.
Well, you've got tomorrow your final one, right?
Yeah, my last one's tomorrow, so I'll be fantasy out, wore out.
Well, I'd rather have fantasy football to look for too than what we've dealt with the last several months.
Exactly.
And I was going to say we play each other in one of our leagues, so that should be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think you're favored to pretty handily.
I actually like my team in that league. The draft unfolded pretty good for me.
Got a couple. You're a Steelers fan now. You're a Steelers fan now.
I must be. I got a lot of Steelers. We got like 3 Steelers.
I think you're 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah. So I'm happy with that.
The good thing is I have trade bait for you and
Devin. Well, we'll wait and see how that goes.
Right.
I'm not a homer for my team, so I try to lure away from that.
We'll see. We'll see. We get desperate.
Yeah, we'll see what I need. So, but anyways, I guess tonight's show we'll be talking about I guess breaking down the preview of the season. Obviously, definitely talking about Redskins, Steelers.
Absolutely.
And then we'll have our locks for the week at the end of the show. All right, so we got Texans and Chiefs Thursday night. So rematch from that playoff game where the Texans choked. So I'm kind of curious. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm curious. And we'll show up now with obviously without DeAndre Hopkins, and the Chiefs really didn't get any weaker. What's your thoughts? Like, do you I think the Chiefs are gonna probably blow out the Texans. I mean, personally,
I don't think they'll blow them out. I think the Chiefs will probably win this game just because they're a better team. But I mean, if Brandon Cooks is there, they have weapons, and if David Johnson's healthy, and Deshaun, what's the quarterback's name? Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's a quality quarterback, so he's going to keep him in the game. We'll see though. I mean, the Chiefs are good.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Deshaun Watson's definitely a good quarterback. I like him as a person too. I mean, he just signed a big deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, just to show him, like, I don't know if you saw that. It was like showing him when he humbled by it. Yeah. I kind of like seeing guys like that instead of seeing these guys just keep collecting money and not really, it's like it's nothing for him anymore. And, he seems to be a pretty genuine guy too. Like, I remember when I think it was his first rookie check that he received, he gave it away, donated to like I think it was the cafeteria staff at the Texans facility.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember that. He seems like a great down-to-earth guy and really appreciates everything that comes to him. Doesn't take anything for granted. This guy you want to play with and be your franchise quarterback. I think the Texans are smart to lock him up.
Yeah, I didn't understand how Bill O'Brien could get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, best receiver. He's still got Brandon Cooks, but he's sometimes injured. Will Fuller's on that team. If David Johnson plays to the form he was at the Cardinals, then he's got a running game. Obviously, you got a defense with J.J. Watt and company. But I just think, like, the Chiefs, you would think the Texans would have this game circled because they had a 24-point lead in the playoff and absolutely choked it away to the Chiefs. But I think every team gave it away to the Chiefs, so it's not like they're the only one, that did that. Here, I just think the Chiefs coming there, it's their first game, even though there's only going to be like 17,000 fans. And I think I heard it today. Andy Reid was interviewed, and they said something. What are you going to do with, like, you're not going to have 80 fans there, all that sea of red. It's only going to be 17,000 fans. And he's like, well, it'll be a low tide. That's all it's going to be. It won't be a sea. It'll be a low tide at 17,000. Good old Andy Reid. I like Andy Reid. So,
I was happy to see him win last year.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, he's definitely a greit offensive-minded coach, and in my opinion, really good head coach. I was happy to see him win.
Yeah, and I think the Chiefs. That's my opinion. I think they're gonna. I think they're going to win handily, but we'll wait and see. But it's just great to see a game that's going to count. With or without fans, it's still going to count. So hopefully,
I,
as the season
I
goes on.
still I still think the Texans' offense is going to be not as bad as people think. I know getting rid of Hopkins is a lot, but at the same time, I mean, the quarterback play is still going to be what it was. And Watson's still there. They might even have a better running game. We'll see.
Yeah, David Johnson, like I said, plays that form he was the Cardinals his rookie year, they're definitely going to have a much better team because he lit it up that year, and then
Absolutely.
he got hurt. So we'll see what happens. But then, so I guess let's get into our teams here a little bit and
Talk a
we'll
little
talk
silver and
Redskins.
black
Yep.
or Redskins, okay? Or
Yeah. But we'll talk a little Washington football team and kind of we'll start with what you sent me today, which I couldn't believe I saw that. It was funny, but I couldn't believe I saw it. Was
yeah,
whoever that guy was from NBC that predicted a 1-15 team. I'm just like, what did you? Are they not going to have a defense? I mean, because they have defense, and I mean, as long as you play halfway decent, you're gonna steal some games like that.
yeah. What I don't understand is like with uh Jack Del Rio, Ron, those two guys,
Mm-hmm.
uh, those two guys are at least worth 2 to 3 wins. And
Yeah,
I've got to believe we'll be better coached than we were with Jake Gruden
yeah,
and Bill Callahan, and just a mess of just. I mean, that's one thing that if you're a Redskins fan, that I've always like been disappointed about with the Jake Gruden era is that our players never developed, never got better. Seems like they got worse. Like we draft them and they were good out of college, and they never lived up to what they were in college. I played it. Ron Rivera is going to have these guys. It's going to take time, but I 1 win, 1-15. Come on.
yeah. That's I can't see that. I mean, the only thing I was a little shocked at, we talked about this off air, like and being let go. He got picked up very quickly. He's not far from catching Barry Sanders in the all-time rushing record. I think it's like yards or something like that. I think it might be less than that. And he's a veteran. I think having a veteran presence with a bunch of with some young running backs is helpful, considering his background and what he's done. I thought that would help. I mean, but I don't know what you think.
Well, my thing is the type of offense we want to run. We're not going to be the. I think they want to spread them out, run a lot of motions, have the running back out of the backfield catch a lot of balls, and it just shows you that the young guys. We're not necessarily about Adrian Peterson than it is about the young guys who did enough to prove that they can. They want to go young,
Yeah.
and it'd be different. Like I know earlier you talked about Jerome Bettis
Mm-hmm.
and that Steeler team keeping him around, but I mean the Redskins aren't that Steeler team that won that Super Bowl that year to keep him Bettis around. I think it's actually good. I think it's actually a good gesture by the Redskins or by Ron Rivera to let him go and pick up. I mean, the Detroit Lions. I mean, obviously they have they'll probably be third in their division, third or fourth, but
Mm-hmm.
you never know. They got Matthew Stafford. In my opinion, Matthew Stafford, if he stays healthy, he could be a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Well, the one thing, and Adrian Peterson goes back to the division he played in for so long, that NFC North. So he knows it. That's helpful. The only thing when I compare the Jerome Bettis having a veteran like that, I think what I compared it was because the Redskins have a defense. It's definitely going to be relevant this year. I don't think they're going to be some pushover defense for sure, especially with what they picked up, and just what they've had. And I thought having Adrian Peterson is similar to like with Jerome Bettis back in the 04, 05. He came back. 05, he came back. Willie Parker was a young rookie, unsigned, undrafted runner. And Bettis definitely helped mold him throughout that whole year. And Willie Parker was getting more carries. Bettis definitely, carried the share, but I mean, he almost lost a game in the playoffs when he fumbled against Indianapolis in a divisional game. But he was there as that veteran presence. And with the defense we had, it helped Willie Parker turn into the running back he was. And I'm thinking with the Redskins, what they have as a defense, it would have been a decent move to keep Peterson to help mold those young run. Was it Anthony Gibson, right? And who's the other one?
Bryce Love.
Yeah, Bryce Love, and I was like, help mold them a little bit to at least for one more year, and then you kind of let him have the keys to the Cadillac basically at that point. After he's kind of molded them, but Ron Rivera, wanted to go with his younger guys, I'm sure, and Ron Rivera is a good coach. I agree with you. I think Jack. I think in general, you're right. They're going to at least walk away with just because of those guys 2 or 3 wins. But I think it depends on Dwayne Haskins, as you said. I mean, Dwayne's got to make steps this year to play well, and I think it starts with playing Philadelphia well. I mean, Philly, is going to come in there. They're not proven yet either. I mean, they've had their ups and downs, and you have Carson Wentz who really has not played a full season, and I want to see how he does against defense. Right at him. They could put him out of commission.
Yeah, well, I see. My thing is, I mean, I'm with you, like on paper and just from the Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera coaching philosophy, and just what they've proven over the years. We should have a good defense, but it's still there's no preseason games. They haven't worked. There's a whole new defense, and the back end's totally different. Obviously, our front seven's a lot improved, especially with Chase Young and Sweat coming off the edges. But it's still like what do you think our defense is going to end up as far as overall defense?
If they stay healthy, I think they got a chance to be top 10. If they stay healthy, I guess let me back up. If they stay healthy, if Chase Young is what he is, which I think he's the real deal, if Montez Sweat has the other side, and you also have Ryan Kerrigan coming off the bench as a helper, and you have your defensive back core and your linebacking core, if they play well with minimal injury, I think top 10 easily.
I'm going to say like top 15 if everything falls right. Their back end is weak, man. Like their corners, I like their starters. Kendall Fuller, he's a solid starter, but he's got to stay healthy. I think Darby is a good starter if he's healthy, but there's a lot of like injuries in the back end. I think Landon Collins is definitely a great safety, but obviously they cut Sean Davis, which was surprising to me, but not surprising, especially what you've told me about him in last year with the Steelers. So there's a lot of question marks, man. It's if they can get to obviously having Chase Young and Sweat will help the back end be better, and that's another thing too. Our offense cannot like go 3 and out every time. They've got to keep that defense fresh to be effective.
No, I agree with you on that. I didn't even touch on that. The offense, they definitely can't go 3 and out because they're going to wear the defense down. Sean Davis will actually wound up going back to the Steelers.
I heard that.
And I think with Sean Davis, he had an injury issue, and that's what it diminished his talent. He came in there that first year or two, and he was doing well, and then he injured, and it was hard to keep up, and then he wound up just falling off the scale there, and and Tomlin wasn't really paying attention when they got rid of him, and then the Redskins, I guess what he probably did not pick up the scheme too well. I don't know if he was 100% healthy or not, but the fact is that he probably didn't pick up their schemes in Del Rio's plan. But you're right. I mean, they're not. They have some weaknesses, the Redskins, and a Washington football team. But I think if you get some offense, if Dwayne Haskins actually gets makes strides from last year, and you have more than one receiver. You got McLaurin, and I think he's going to continue to improve. I think he's a good receiver. I think having a tight end or having a second receiver that he can get to and will keep that offense on the field. Like you said, he can't go 3 and out. And
exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's gonna. I think I don't think you can determine that after week 1 because I don't think anybody's gonna look great week 1 because we haven't any preseason games like you said, And
Right.
it could be a very sloppy game. I think the first month could be very sloppy because that's like
I agree.
preseason. So
All offenses are going to struggle.
yes, 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 yeah. I think the defense is more downhill for them than the offense. So, I'm curious how the Washington football team will do. I don't think they're going to be 1-15. I think they could surprise people and go 8-8 too. I mean, if they steal some victories, and especially with that added playoff spot this year, you don't know what'll happen. With that division because the Eagles aren't. I don't care. The Eagles, I don't think are that good. The Giants definitely aren't that good. They're improved from last year, but not that improved. And it depends on Saquon Barkley if he stays healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, that immediately diminishes them.
I mean, the Eagles have a top 10 defense, and
Yeah, they
when
do.
they're on, it's a top 5 to 7. So, and then Carson Wentz can stay healthy. He's proven to be a good quarterback when he's healthy.
Well, that's the key. Yeah,
Yeah,
if he stays healthy. So, it'll remain. And the Cowboys definitely are the front runner in that division. I mean,
I
they
agree.
should be. I mean, ESPN, like they had a prediction the Cowboys would play the Chiefs. And I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, I'm sorry. The Cowboys aren't, I don't think the Cowboys are that good. I think they're good, but they underachieve every year.
I agree.
So I mean, you got a great running back and you got a great receiver, but the quarterback needs to step up this year with all the talk about him. So that Dak Prescott. So we'll wait and see. So all right. Well, let's go into my football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Interesting things. We wound up picking up actually yesterday. We picked back up our quarterback Josh Dobbs from Jacksonville. He was released, and we picked him back up. We drafted him out of Tennessee, which I wasn't too fond of him, but I think he's better than the two quarterbacks there now, Mason Rudolph and Dak. I'm sorry, Devlin Hodges or Duck Hodges, they called him. Hodges went to the practice squad. So Dobbs will have a chance to, he's that third string quarterback, but I think he could jump over Mason Rudolph because I just don't understand what their interest is in Mason Rudolph. He did not show me a lot last year. I mean, except getting
Was he a
knocked out.
rookie last year? I forget, or was he a second-year guy?
It was his second year last year, so this is his third year. He showed me that he could get knocked out again by Myles Garrett. He got knocked out in the game. Earl Thomas knocked him out. Yeah, Earl Thomas knocked him out in the Ravens game. I was there. I mean, I thought he was dead. He didn't move for a while. And he actually got up after that, which was really impressive. And then Myles Garrett, he tried to take on a massive lineman who almost killed him with a helmet. And I don't have faith. I'm worried about Ben, a 16-game quarterback at this point in his career. He never has been really. And
I agree.
I don't understand what that move was. There was talks at one point we were going to pick up Josh Rosen, who was released by the Dolphins, to mold him behind Ben. I'm like, that wouldn't be a bad move because he hasn't really had anybody since coming into the league, and it might be a better pick, but he went to Tampa like everybody. And, I don't know. I'm worried about that. The running game, I don't think I'm worried about because they have so many of them.
Yeah, I think you guys got a nice of 3 quality backs.
Yeah. Well, we got James Conner, we got Benny Snell.
I drafted both those top 2 running backs you have.
Snell and Conner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that's many of your Steeler pickups, obviously. Conner, he's a quality running back when he stays healthy. Yeah. I just don't know how healthy. I mean, he battled cancer and beat it, which is great. Love that. Anybody does that. But I don't know, he last year was injury plagued and he didn't do well. And Benny Snell, who's our second-year running back out of Kentucky, he's a hard-nosed running back. I want to see what he has to offer because I think he's somebody that could do well. And then we have Jalen Samuels, who's in his third year, I think it is. He's more of our like change of pace back or just more passing back out of the backfield. He's smaller, but he's fast. And then you got Anthony McFarland, who is the home run hitter from Maryland, who I'm sure he's smaller, but I'm really curious how he's going to be used this year, if any. I don't know how Tom will do that.
They've got to play him some packages like third down, second and long kind of things.
Yeah,
because he can take it to the house. He's a home run hitter.
Yeah, Yeah, he can hit the high gear and go, and I want to see that anyways. And I think he's a good pick.
Yes.
But then our receiving core, I think Juju Smith-Schuster, like they're saying he's their number one receiver. I never thought he's the number one receiver. I'm sorry, he had Antonio Brown shading him for a couple years and made him look phenomenal. And then when Brown left, he didn't do too well and he got injured. And he
Well,
spent a lot of time on social media, which seems like that's more of his interest than putting in time, on the practice field. So I want to, I want to really see what he does this year. I've liked him as a receiver. I just don't know he's a number one, as far as rating. Chase Claypool from Notre Dame. He's our big threat receiver we drafted this year, and I think I've heard a lot about him, and I think he's going to do good for us down there in the red zone and just in general because we needed a taller receiver. And then we got James Washington, another receiver who was kind of injured last year, and then our number one receiver is Deontay Johnson, who was our pick. He was a rookie last year, and without Ben Roethlisberger, he was the leading receiver. So
yeah.
I look for him to be big. I look for him at the end of the year to be the number one receiver, and I don't think we're going to re-sign Juju. I really don't. I mean, the thing I haven't talked about yet is on the defensive side, we just locked up Cam Hayward for a 4-year, $50-some million contract, and you include this year's, it's close to $75 million that he got paid. So Cam Hayward's the center of our defense. That took a lot of money.
That did.
And I just don't, from a cap perspective, the Steelers aren't in good cap position right now. You still got Ben on there on the books. TJ Watt is soon to be a contract they have to pay him. Minkah Fitzpatrick, they got him for about 3 more years. They're going to have to pay him. Who else? Joe Hayden's got another year or two. Let's see, who else?
What's Bush in? The third year?
Yeah, and that's his second year, so
He's
his
rookie last
contract
year.
is coming in. Yeah, he'll be coming in a couple years, and James Conner's contract is coming up next year too. And I don't see them going after him either, unless James Conner has a mediocre year where they can just get him for small value.
It's gonna be tough to re-sign him with all the other people that's re-signed.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Plus you have quality backups. And if McFarland is what I think he can be, he might be a great him and Snell.
Benny Snell, yeah.
They could probably fill that void that Connor would leave.
Yeah, and Juju's a great. I mean, I think he's a good receiver. I mean, I'd love to see him, but I think if he has a good year, like if he has 1,000 yards receiving or more, he's going to command a chunk of change on the free agent market.
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of that has to do with Ben staying healthy though, because your backups aren't. You tell the production fell because Ben looks for him, and I think they had like a connection. So
yeah, they do. Well, Ben in general. I mean, the one thing about the Steelers, they know how to draft wide receivers. I mean, we've been drafting wide receivers for quite some time. So I'm not really worried if Juju leaves. I mean, do I want him to leave? And if we could sign him, great, yeah. But I think we can develop. I think getting Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame was the writing there that like they wanted to pick. They wanted to pick somebody up to replace Juju, and you got a big threat like that. And if he does well, that'll be pretty good. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, tight end wise, we picked up Eric Ebron from the Colts. And he plays for the Giants too. And, we have him and we have Vance McDonald, who I think both of them, if Vance McDonald stays healthy for more than 3 games, which he hasn't, and Eric Ebron goes back to how he played in Indy and in New York, Ben would have his 2 tight end set, which we never had. So,
I think that's a good pickup. And I think that's a solid group of tight ends, top 2. It'll be interesting to see how they play that though, because like you said, they have always been like the 1 tight end set, and
Heath Miller. I mean, we haven't had anybody since Heath, and Heath was great for Ben. That was a crutch for Ben many years, and I definitely don't think that it's bad to have him. It's not bad to have him and Eric Ebron. If they're both healthy. And the one thing, actually, I was just given something here by Devin. our little Steeler reporter here. He told me Diontae Johnson went to Tulane. No one knew him going back on the topic of receivers. Actually, and nobody did. He's right. Devin's actually right about that. Nobody knew Diontae Johnson. So that was a good. Our stat guy gave us a little help there. I think that was actually a
Good
pretty
job,
good stat.
stat boy.
Yeah. I didn't think that was I didn't even realize that. So that was actually a good call out by him.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I mean, we haven't talked about it, is the offensive line. Is they're getting older, but they're still solid.
Oh, yeah.
That helps. And just like our defensive front is solid. The final thing I'll say is Minkah Fitzpatrick, when we picked him up last year from Miami, everybody was wondering what we were doing, and it was a steal. I mean, we literally that was our number one pick this year. And he's played like it. Last year he made our defense instantly better.
Oh, definitely.
By a ton. And so I'm curious. We'll see what happens. I think the Steelers. I think I predicted them at the beginning, way back. We did a show. It was like 13-3. I think I'm still going to stick to that. They could be 12-4. The Ravens are going to be up there. Them two are going to fight for the division. I think the Browns are going to be up there too. So I think it's going to be a very tight division for them. So we'll see what happens. But that's a little recap there on the Steelers and Redskins. So I guess we can go into our locks of the week if you want, Todd.
Let's do it.
I don't know. Okay, so I was going to pick – I don't know if you're going to pick the same games or not, but –
No, you tell me your locks, and I'll tell you my locks. We'll start at 1 o'clock, okay. And then we'll go to 4, then we'll go to the Sunday night, and then Monday night.
All right, so I'm going to pick the New York Football Jets, not the Giants, at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are actually given 5.5 to the Jets. I'm going to take the Bills in that one, given 5.5 easily. I think the Bills are going to beat up on the Jets with or without fans. My other 1 o'clock game that I was going to do is obviously your football team, the Washington football team, the Philadelphia Eagles coming to Washington. The Eagles are giving the Redskins 6. I'm actually going to take the Redskins +6 for that game. Go with the early win for you guys.
Okay, you kind of took my thunder with the Redskins or the Washington football team getting 6 to a division rival at home. I'm going to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm actually going to go. You're probably going to be surprised. I'm going to go with the stick in the same division as far as the Miami Dolphins and the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to cover the spread. So
okay, so you're taking the Patriots, giving 6.5. What's given 6 to the Dolphins?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody thinks, like, some people were predicting the Patriots were going to be. Somebody said they're going to be 5-11 this year, which I was like, what?
I can't believe that. I heard that same thing. I'm like, I know they're not going to be as good as they usually are, but they're not going to be terrible.
No, it's like the same person who did the Redskins 1-15. I'm like, what are you on? I just don't see where they're getting that from. So, yeah, that's a good pick. I like that one. I think New England's going to cover that one. I mean, they're at home. It's home opener. I think Belichick, regardless of the guys that opted out, he's still going to have a team ready. He's a great coach. So, let's go to the 4 o'clock games. So I'm going to look at the LA Chargers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay. Chargers are giving 4 to the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals. Joe Burrow first game. I think he's going to win. I'm going to take the 4 from the Chargers there and pick the Bengals. Okay. And my other game I'm going to pick there is the Tampa Bay Bucks at the New Orleans Saints. Okay. I'm so tired of hearing about Tampa. I'm going with the Saints. Okay. Giving 4.5 to the Bucks.
Okay, that sounds good. I actually like those picks actually. So I'm gonna go with the Dallas or not Dallas. Buccaneers getting against the Saints. I'm going to take the Bucks with that spread. My computer crashed on me as far as the spread. What was the spread on that? That's have written down.
4.5.
Yeah, I'm 4.5. And my next one's going to be the I went back and forth because I'm going to go with the Chargers in the bank against the Bengals.
So you're giving 4 to the Bengals. So basically we're doing the opposite in those ones. That's good. That'll be a good head-to-head.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then the Sunday night game is the Dallas Cowboys at the LA Rams. Cowboys giving 3 to the Rams. I think I'm going to take the Cowboys there, giving 3. I think they're gonna. I just don't know how the Rams are gonna be. You know, they're a mystery team. They have some talent, but it all depends on what Jared Goff shows up this year. Either last year's, which will be disgraceful, or the year before, where they were, they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're definitely not the team that went to the Super Bowl anymore. I still think they can still be a quality team and compete for that division. But the Cowboys offense should be able to cover that spread 3 points. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys too.
All right, so the last one I'm doing is Monday night. Steelers at the New York Football Giants. I'm taking the Steelers, giving 3 to the Giants. I think that's going to be a very easy win for Big Ben coming back from after missing a year. Even without Ben, I think we can beat the Giants.
Yeah, I think this is a good warm-up game for you guys. This is like your the first week's preseason game for you guys.
Yeah.
Giants are not going to – I mean, I can't imagine this being close. I think you guys blow them out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be I'd like that. That would be a nice start for me. I'd be stress-free on a Monday night. Would be nice. So we'll see. But, all right, we'll have to see how those picks go next week when we recap the first week there and see how it goes.
Definitely.
But yeah, so that does it for tonight's show. Thanks for and look forward to you guys joining us again. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, TD Show.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no charge for it. Just click the subscribe button and definitely follow us on all of our podcast sites where you would like. We're pretty much on every one now, actually including iHeartRadio, which I think we just got on in the last week I saw. So
thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Have a good night.